Yeah, hello everyone. Welcome to our webinar on Nifty Coders Trainee Program. We are all very excited to have you all with us today. So today will have two speakers with us, our CEO, Rizwan Huda, and our People and Culture Lead Specialist, Amatiraki Bhushan Apu. So without further ado, let's get started. Off to you, Rizwan here.
Thank you, Abir. Welcome everyone. So thank you all for joining. We've had a very overwhelming response from all of you. So as Abir mentioned, I am Rezwan, the CEO of Nifty Coders. So I will be conducting the primarily most of it, and then I will ask Lushan to help me with some of the presentation part. So as you all will be listening, quite a bit from me over the next 30, 40 minutes, it makes sense to sort of give you a brief introduction about myself. As Abir said, my name is Rezwan, Rezwanul Huda, and I'm commonly known in the community as Rezwan. I'm the founder and CEO of Nifty Coders. In the below, sort of milestone, I have highlighted a few key milestones throughout my career. So I started my first job in Metatude Asia back in 2000. So when I was thinking about this yesterday, I thought that, the participants of this seminar is mostly going to be fresh graduates. They're about 23, 22 to 24 years of age. And it seems like I started, many of you were probably not born when I started my career back in 2000. And so I'm very excited. Also, I'm looking back at myself and, it seems like it was yesterday when I had my first interview and, I had my first job, and already 25 years have passed. Another highlight of my career, I've had the longest career in a company called Software People. So they are currently known as Hogarth. So I think as in Software People, I've had a very good career, or a lot of my career's path has been shaped by practices and the people that I worked with during this period. Between 2015 and 2020, I was mostly doing consultancy and contractual jobs with many different companies, startups, and offshore development companies. And in 2020, I started Nifty Coders, or we started Nifty Coders. Since then, I'm of course here. So throughout my career, I've been a technical person, and I started as a developer, and I still now am very passionate about doing software development and doing coding. Although I don't get to have as much time as I used to have earlier in my career, but I do spend some time still. And most of my career, I've spent time with offshore development companies and outsourcing companies with various teams and products. So, yeah. So before we get started with the main webinar, so the reason why we actually wanted to conduct this webinar is because we thought that we want you to make an informed decision about where you're joining, or where you're planning to apply. So whenever we have like job posts, I see that everyone almost applies, but maybe not everything is suitable for you. And also we thought that without really knowing much about us or the kind of work that we do, and also not knowing much about this initiative of the trainee program, it will be difficult for you to make an informed decision. So we thought instead of just applying or just sharing a job post, let us try to inform you. You get to know more about us, and then you can decide whether it makes sense for you to apply for this position. During the webinar, if you have questions, please raise your hand. We'll try to accommodate as many questions as possible. At the end of the seminar, we will have some Q&A session and some time. So let's briefly, walk through our agenda. So of course, we'll talk about Nifty Coders, who we are and what we do. We want to briefly highlight about, few salient features or few, key things that sets us apart as a place to start your career with. As I've been in the industry for quite some time, so I think I couldn't resist myself on sharing some career advice. And then we'll talk about the program, the initiative that we are taking, and finally, the most awaited application process. So it's like, when we have concert, James সবার শেষে আসে, so ওরকম আসলে অ্যাপ্লিকেশন প্রসেসটাও আসলে সবার শেষে আসবে। সো সবাইকে আসলে আমরা মানে আমাদের যা বলার আছে সবকিছু বলে ঠলেই আসলে অ্যাপ্লিকেশন প্রসেসের জায়গাটায় যাব। সো ওয়েবিনারটা আমরা আসলে ইংলিশ বাংলা মিশিয়েই আসলে কন্ডাক্ট করব। সো আমরা যখন প্রশ্ন নিব তখনও আসলে feel free to ask questions in whichever language you are comfortable in and you find suitable. Great. So let's get started with the main agenda. So Nifty Coders. So as as I already mentioned, that we started our journey in 2020 amid Corona. So, everything was shut down. And then at that point in time, we decided to start Nifty Coders. So we were just 6 developers who started with a specific project. Over the span of about 5 years, so we are going to complete 5 years in this August, in a month from now. We've grown for up to 50 members. So we mostly operate from Dhaka, but we also have a small team in Belarus, Minsk. Few of our notable clients, we have some startups that we work with and we have worked with. So Guama, they're a gaming startup. Then TutorSync, they were in the education industry. And then our most notable client is a Fortune 500 company that we work with. And Application Objects Incorporated, they are our first client, and we are still continuing to work with them. So at the left, I've written a brief sort of definition of Nifty Coders, right? So Nifty means particularly good and skillful, effective, and coders is people who write computer programs. And so the reason for choosing, this name is also because as in Nifty Coders, we value the importance of being nifty as a developer. And, when it comes to business, everyone is concerned about, something that needs to work. The business doesn't care whether it's well written, whether it's well maintainable. Business is only concerned about things that work. But in Nifty Coders, we try to focus on making sure that whatever we develop, it's good from both inside and outside. So it needs to work, it needs to be well structured and well built. So we have a small office in Bonani. So here are a couple of glimpses and from our office. So it's not very big, but it's very cozy, and we enjoy coming to this office and working every day. Okay, so what do we do in Nifty Coders? So if you go to our website, you will see that we build enterprise-grade software for startups and corporates. So there are 3 major areas of where we work with. So the first one is, or the most notable one, is DevOps and cloud engineering services. Then we, of course, develop applications mostly web applications. And then we also do site reliability engineering. So what all this means, I will go through, in my next couple of slides. I will try to give some examples of the kind of work that we do. I've tried to put together sort of a list of various tools and technology that we use. This is not an exhaustive list, but it should give you an idea of the kind of technology that we typically work with. Okay, so in my previous slide, I mentioned platform engineering. So it's part of our DevOps services, what we do. So what platform engineering really means is you develop tools and platform that supports your software development process and deployment, right? Uh, so what does it actually mean? So when we the life of a program or an application, it starts from you being a developer developing something in your laptop or in your PC, and it runs. But beyond our university project stages, you know applications don't just run on our laptops, right? They need to go into production. They need to reach out to people who are, our customers, our clients, right? So I've tried to, we have different environments that we call. So typically we can have integration environments. So in larger applications, a single developer doesn't work. Many different developers work together. And then we have our applications deployed in integration environments where code from your team members, they get merged. And you would use this environment to test your code to see how your code performs or when fellow developers have merged their code in, how they work together. You try to see whether your code has broken any other existing functionality, and you test it. And once you have confidence in your code, then you would typically ship them in QA environment, where your quality assurance engineers, your product managers, they will validate that the piece of functionality that was supposed to be developed, whether it's been developed properly and it's bug free and it works as expected. And finally, you would put it back to production environments, right, where your customers will actually be using this your application, right? So this is, I think, a very common scenario where you have maybe three such environments. In many of our clients' cases, we have more environments than this. We have UAT environments. We have staging environments. We have pilot environments. So many different in many different environments, we need to get our application to be deployed, right? So imagine you have to do this every day a couple of times, right? If not have to cycle through all of the environments, at least, one or two environments you have to deploy every day, right? So if you want to do it manually, it's not only time consuming, it's also error prone. You can make mistakes during deployment by manually copying your code, and you can sort of disrupt an environment. So how do we address this? Of course, we try to implement automation, right? So there are many tools that you might have heard of. So like Jenkins, GitLab CI/CD, GitLab Actions. These are typically tools that you use to automate this process. This process of getting your software from one environment to the other one is, of course, called deployment. In scenarios where you make changes to your code and a deployment happens automatically, we call it continuous delivery, right? So for most of our clients, continuous delivery happens only during when developer merges their code. So you get your code instantaneously in your integration environment. For the other environment, we call it on-demand deployment. So we are ready to deploy, but we deploy when our client is ready or when we feel that business is ready to absorb our new functionality. So the next thing is, how do you decide that you want to get your application from one environment to the other, right? So of course you do testing, right? You make sure that the functionality that you were supposed to develop, you have developed it well. QA has validated. It hasn't broken any existing functionality, right? Again, how do you do this efficiently? So of course you write automated tests like unit test, integration test, or even regression tests, right? And you want them to run them every time you make changes to your code. So this particular practice where you run automated tests to make sure that your code maintains all its quality measures, it's called continuous integration. So the basic platform engineering practice that we can see in many organizations is CI/CD, but platform engineering can be used for many other applications. So for example, we use platform engineering to do code scanning. To find out that the code meets quality measures and quality matrices, right? We do security scanning of Docker images to make sure there aren't unwanted vulnerability. We do a lot of process automation, and these are all part of platform engineering. The next stop is what we are saying, that we do cloud engineering, right? So you see that we have three environments in this particular case, in this example. We have integration environments, QA environment, production environment. So where do these environments reside, right? So again, in our case, these environments reside in cloud environments. For us, it's mostly AWS cloud. So in AWS cloud, depending on your application, you need many different services to be provisioned. Sometimes you need services like AWS Lambda. Sometimes we deploy our applications in Kubernetes, so we need Amazon EKS. Sometimes we deploy our applications in plain bare metal EC2 servers. And sometimes we have, we need other components like, we need to provision a load balancer or an S3 bucket to store our files, right? So these configurations vary according to the application, right? And you can have different applications that require different kind of infrastructure, if we call it. So one of the other things that we do is we do infrastructure design. So infrastructure design is about provisioning resources for your application. So optimal resources. You need to provision your infrastructure so that it's secure. You have to provision your infrastructure so that it can scale. You have to provision your infrastructure so that it maintains a good, the cost is optimized. And depending on the nature of the application, the requirements, these designs vary, a lot. And that's something that we do on a day-to-day basis as part of our services. The other thing that we do is infrastructure automation, right? So you see, we already have three environments over here, right? So while integration environments that developers use are typically lower in capacity, right? You don't want to be using the same server size in your integration environments that you would use in your QA or production environment. On the other hand, you would want your QA environment and production environment to look identical so that you can make sure that the code that runs in QA environment also works in production environment, right? So how do you sort of consistently replicate these environments or consistently configure these environments so that you can control the size or vary non-structural components without hampering your application's performance, right? And we do that with something called infrastructure as code, or IAC. So IAC, basically what it means is you can represent your infrastructure with some piece of code. So you can write a piece of code that provisions an AWS Lambda, right? There are several technologies available. We typically use Terraform, and then there's also AWS CloudFormation that can be used. So these are the kind of tasks that we do in our cloud engineering services: the infrastructure design and infrastructure automation. Next, I'll move on to application development. So our largest client, they have something that we call a product suite. So what is a product suite? A product suite is a combination of multiple products, right? So we have one product suite. It consists of multiple products. And then each product has different applications and microservices as part of them, right? So there are more than 200 developers, not only developers, actually, developer, SRE, DevOps engineers who are working across this product suite in different areas. And Nifty Coders, we supply about 20% of this workforce, right? And what do we do as part of application development? We do create front-end applications with Angular, with React applications. We do backend services. We do API development and integrations. We also do data preparation from ML algorithms. We tune ML models or LLM prompts, right? So that's what our developers are doing as part of application development. So when you're working with a large pool of developers in an isolated team, and you have team members from different geographic area, different organizations, right? You also need to practice, or also need to follow certain good practices. So we have a very strict code review process. Our codes need to have certain amount of unit test coverage. We follow practices like behavior-driven development, or BDD. We have to consider reusability of the applications, or our libraries or UI components, right? So if you need something, if you have to develop a new UI, instead of just going there and trying to create your UI from scratch, we always have to look out for common libraries to see if there are components, UI components that we can use. If you have to implement something, integrate with a service, we look for wrappers in our libraries. So we have to consider reusability. We have to reuse if there's something exists. Also, when we are creating, we have to keep reusability in mind. So maybe instead of just developing something in our application that we work with, we need to actually push it to a common library so that other applications can use it in future. We also have to do good API design. The APIs need to be performant. They should be reusable by other applications of services. And then we have to consider security, which is a very important aspect of our day-to-day work. Okay, let me move on to the next one, which is service reliability engineering. So service reliability engineering is more about making sure that our infrastructure, or our applications that are deployed, they're maintained, well maintained, maintained properly. So as you have seen, we provide both infrastructure releases for our applications as well as application releases, right? So our SRE team, they are responsible for validating these infrastructure packages, whether it's possible to create a new infrastructure from a new version, whether it's possible to upgrade an existing infrastructure, right? They also provision infrastructure. They are responsible for deploying applications in those infrastructure. They monitor and troubleshoot the environments for various issues. And they execute performance tests. As they monitor the environments, they also suggest infrastructure optimizations to reduce cost, to improve performance. They develop and deploy their own monitoring tools. They automate various processes, like part of the platform engineering. And for a lot of our clients, we don't have access to environments beyond QA environment or production and beyond our integration environment. So, if some application issue needs to be troubleshoot in QA environment or production environment, our SRE engineers work as our eyes and ears for the developers for deep troubleshooting of applications. Yeah, so that's basically what we do briefly. Okay, so I don't know if it's a good time to take some questions. If anyone has any questions, maybe you can raise your hand. Otherwise, I can just quickly move on to the next section. Okay, I think we are good. So as a workplace, Mr. Shabbir has some question. Maybe we can quickly take. Abir?
Yes, sir. Given microphone access, given. Mr. Sabil, you can unmute and ask your question.
Let's perhaps come back to it later. Okay. So now, coming back to, as a workplace, what sets Nifty Coders apart, right? So I think I have divided it up into, two sections. The first one is, our culture, right? So I think we have a developer first culture, and we really focus on development of our individual developers, right? Personal growth focused environment we try to provide. So I have been a developer myself for a very long time, and throughout my career I've also played a lot of bridging role, right, where I sat between the developers and the business. So as a developer, I understand what makes our developers flourish in their work, as well as understand business urgencies and try and mitigate that. When we develop Nifty Coders, I tried to find like-minded people like me. At the same time, we tried to provide an environment where this balance can be maintained. So I think that's part of our culture, and it's a I think advantage. The other thing is we have good set of mentors available in our organization. So about 40% of our developers are more than 5 years of experience. So which means that anyone who is less experienced or a fresher, you have about for every 2 engineers, there is 1 person who can sort of help you with guidance, guide you, and do mentorship. And we have about 20% developers in our organization who are more than 10 years old, right? Who have more than 10 years of experience. So I think we believe that in terms of developer experience density, this is quite high in compared to maybe probably a lot of other organizations. So that's a I think good advantage that we have. The other thing is, we believe that we provide a fair set of benefits and compensation. So we are a new company. So of course, we have a lot to do and lot to, go forward with benefits and compensation. But still, as a new company, I think, who is not too old and not too new, I think we sort of try to provide a fair amount of benefits and compensation to our developers. The next thing is, the other point that I would like to highlight, and which is we believe that it's quite unique to Nifty Coders because, our access to being able to work with very large enterprise clients, right? So as you see, the systems that we work with, they are quite complex. So we can provide an opportunity to hands-on work with very complex enterprise systems, right? So as a trainee engineer, you may not have the opportunity to work on these systems directly, but you will be surrounded with people who are working. You will be in an environment where people around you are working with these complex enterprise systems, and it can really help you get a good insight of how real life complex systems work. And then we also have the opportunity to collaborate with global teams, right? So as I said, we have teams across Belarus, we have teams in Dhaka, we have teams, our client has teams in London, USA. So you get the opportunity to work with a global team. And the last one, but not, I think it's the most important one, which is in Nifty Coders, we don't just implement a specification. In many cases, we design solutions, we design architecture, we design processes for our clients. And I think for a very large system, being able to create impacts like this, that is also very unique to Nifty Coders. So I think that should give you, good reasons to see Nifty Coder as a potential workplace for you all. Okay. So I think we are done with talking about Nifty Coders and what we do. And as I said at the beginning of this webinar, that I do have some career advice for young developers. It should not take it too seriously, but I think some of it I've learned from my experience. I've learned it, at later parts of my career, and then some of it, I practiced myself throughout my career. So I have identified 5 areas or 5 advices that I feel that you should consider. So the first one that I call is suitable compromises, right? So I think our life is about making, I would say, as I said, suitable compromises or compromises that make sense for various things that we do. So if you want to eat healthy, do exercise, right? So that's a good habit. But you also make a compromise, right? You cannot just eat an ice cream when you want. You do not enjoy the freedom of sleeping for, I don't know, 12 o'clock in the morning, right? But on the other hand, if you are, of the other kind, like, you eat ice cream whenever you want to have your, you don't want to do exercise, right? So you also make a compromise. You compromise your health, right? When we hear these two, the two sides of this coin side by side, we always make a judgment. We always think the prior one is better than the former one, right? But I think we should not judge anyone. I think it's a compromise someone has actively decided to take, and they have the right to do it. And the reason why I bring this up is because when you're starting your career, right, always prioritize or always try to prioritize organizations where you have the opportunity to learn and grow, or you have mentorship available, right? So as you grow old, for first 5-6 years of your career are very important, and you sort of share a lot of it shapes your career, future career, right? So as you grow old, as you get married, as you have kids, as your parents grow old, you will not be able to, sacrifice your money at that point in time. And you may have, many of your friends who are not in a situation, they probably are in a situation where they have to take care of their family immediately. They cannot make that compromise. So, if you get both, very nice. If you can't get both, at least try to get, make sure that you prioritize your career, organizations where you have opportunity to learn and have mentors, good mentors. So I see that we have a lot of questions. So please store your questions. Maybe after this slide, we will, give a brief time to the questions. Then the other thing that I want to talk about is work-life balance, right? So I hear a lot about, people discussing about work-life balance. Again, remember that this is a, choice that you make. So if 5 of your friends join the company and, you agreed that you will make sure that you will maintain work-life balance, and one of your friend decides not to maintain work-life balance, right? So he has an advantage, to be honest, right? He will probably deliver, more than what you do. He will probably, be trusted more or relied more by the organization, right? But it's a choice or it's a compromise that your friend has decided to make, right? He doesn't have the opportunity to spend more time with his friend and family, or he cannot just go on to an impromptu movie to do that, as when he wants, right? You, on the other hand, get to spend your time with your family more. You get to nurture your hobby. You get to do something that you enjoy more, right? So always value, what you are compromising and what you are getting. But the harsh reality is no one is going to penalize someone because he's performing or, delivering more than what you are, right? So keep that in mind. I think, work-life balance is very important, and you must make sure that you value what you're getting because you're maintaining your work-life balance, right? The other thing that I want to talk about, I call it leadership loop, right? So people who are good with development and who have started working at an early stage, many a times you'll see that you are moved on to a managerial role. You become a leader. You are responsible for managing resources in your organization. You are responsible for managing projects for your organization. So I think all of this is very positive, right? But always remember, right? Your first few years of your career shapes what you're going to become in 10 years, 15 years, right? So without a solid technical foundation, at some point in time, at later point in your career, you will have to struggle, right? So if you are provided leadership opportunities, then remember that this is like being an all-rounder in a cricket team, right? If you're a specialist, like a bowler or a batsman, versus an all-rounder, you need to put twice the effort as a specialist, right? So make sure that you put that effort and have your foundations right, so that you don't struggle at a later stage in your career. There's another thing that I wanted to write, but I forgot to mention or as a point. That is your value. So many at the times I see that developers, when we are switching from one organization to another one, uh, we always expect that I will be paid more than what I'm getting now. So I'm not saying this so that we can get developers cheaply, but I am talking about a practical thing that you should understand that when you're working in an organization for several years, there are two kinds of skills that you develop, right? So one thing is universal. You learn that skill and you are able to apply that skill in any organization. But there are also some very organization specific skills, right? uh, how a certain developer behaves, or uh, if you are an expert in a legacy code system that your organization currently maintains, right? uh, I don't have value that every bit of that code, right? But I have the value that you are someone who has proved yourself that you can decipher legacy code and get a good understanding of it, right? So that's the value that another organization will be willing to make. So always keep that in mind, that what your value is and when is it okay to compromise on your value. Then the next thing is the importance of growing, right? So in any organization that you work, and I tell this to my developer colleagues all the time, even in our organization, that any point in time in your career, if you look back and you see that you haven't grown, you haven't learned new things, and so it's important to think about it. Either talk to your manager, talk to your um, team lead or whoever, and try to make a change, or try to make sure that it's understood that you are not learning and it's not uh, something that you're happy about. And if needed, you should seriously consider changing your organization to a different organization where you have learning opportunity. And this is something that is true throughout your career. You should be growing no matter what stage of your career you're in. And then the last one, which I think is very interesting, right? So I'm calling it continuous learning. So I think all of us have this notion that when we say that in our career we have to learn, we think about technology, tools, right? But you have to understand that learning is not only about technology tool, right? It's also about learning a lot of other things, right? So everyone around you, whether that person is a junior, that person is a senior, that person is a colleague at your same level, you will always have different things other than tools and technology to learn from other people, right? How someone addresses a certain problem, right? Try to observe people around you, how someone uses a specific tool, right? I've learned many things just by looking at people working, and managed to develop a lot of efficiency in many different times. So when your senior mentor is sitting beside you and doing pair programming with you, don't just learn the technology that they use. Learn how they use the tools. Learn what tools that they use. So in my first company in Metatude Asia, my CTO, right, boss, uh, he would say, give me a lot of good advice and, give me suggestions. And he would make sure that I don't forget, because every time, he wanted me to keep notes. I mean, it was my responsibility to remember what he told me. And I was supposed to remember. Every time I asked him something twice, he would get very angry at me. So at that time, I used to think that, why is he, so impatient, right? But I know that he wanted, I mean, when I look back, I know that he wanted this because he wanted me to make sure that I build a habit of learning things when I see them. So it's something that is very important. So not just learn tools and technology, also make sure that you're learning behavioral traits, you're learning, how to develop other skills. Okay, so with that, I sort of end on my advice bit. So I hope you will find some of it useful in your life going forward. Okay. So I think we've had a couple of questions. Maybe if someone still wants to ask, maybe Abir, you can open the floor. Yes, I think Faisal has some questions. So I think once Abir sort of gives you microphone access, you will need to unmute yourself and then ask the question.
Yes.
Non-fresher
Mr.
allowed
Faisal,
to apply.
yeah.
Okay, so I think this program is designed for freshers, right? So it's difficult to accommodate people who has some experience because we'll be hiring probably associate level engineers shortly. So you can maybe watch out for those posts and apply there. Okay. Anything else? Shishir?
Another question, I think, from Mr. Spondon Sholter. I'll give him mic access.
Hello, sir. Thank you for your
Hello.
presentation. I would like to know about how Niftify actually manages their projects, like the methodologies, and how am I have the opportunity to be a project manager or a business analyst in Nifty Coders.
Okay, so I mean, there are two things. So we have some internal tools that we use for day-to-day project management, and then we also use tools that are prescribed by our clients. So we use Jira a lot for project management, and we use Confluence for documentation management. So these are two common tools that we use. So whenever an opening comes up for business analyst, and are you a fresh graduate, or do you already have some experience?
Actually, I have 3 years of experience, 2 years as a developer and more than a year as a business analyst.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, do watch out for positions where we look for business analyst and project managers, and you will probably have a good chance at getting there. So I hope it answers your questions. Okay. Let's take one more question. So maybe we can take it from Mahmudul.
Mr. Mahmudul, please unmute your mic and ask your question. I think we can move on.
Okay, I will just
the questions
maybe answer a couple of quick questions that I see in the questionnaire. So one of the thing is, final year grad, 4 credits left. Yes, I think we would encourage you to apply. And it's from Shafkat Sharir. So Aman asked whether we work with cross-platform applications. So we use Maui in some of our projects, but we do have plans to use, develop skill sets in Flutter. So we are currently looking for Flutter developers actually. So yeah. Okay, so I think I've seen, an interesting question, challenges trainees face early, but let's take them up at the, at the later Q&A phase of our presentation. So I think, let's move on to the next year. I think we've already surpassed almost 50 minutes. So yeah, let's try to get to the next step. So the trainee program, how have we designed it? So our training program is going to be 4 months. So we think it's a moderate duration. It's not too, big, not too small. So as we primarily work with three areas, DevOps, application, and SRE, we have designed a foundation there where, all trainee engineers, they will go through some of these, basic concepts or, basic tools in all these areas. And then we're going to have some specialist area depending on people's interest. So if you're interested in DevOps, so we will have some initiatives to get you some specialist training in DevOps. If you're interested in applications, then we'll provide some application specific training. And then the same with SRE, right? So we envision that we'll probably use 25% of your time in getting the foundations right, and 25% of your time in with specific trainings. And the rest, 50% of the time, which we would like everyone to spend, apply their knowledge and skills in our internal projects and documentations. Right. So that's how we have tried to design. So to understand that this is the first of its kind for us. So we don't know what will work and what will not work. So you will be part of the set of people who will actually help us shape this program for our future initiatives as well. But we are very committed to it, and we'll try our best to make sure that this is you get the best out of this program. Okay, let's take a look at the selection process. So we'll open up the applications, job application, right after or during this webinar. So from the list of applicants that we have, we'll shortlist, about 30 to 40 candidates, right? I think I have a next slide on, the shortlisting process. So, I mean, when shortlisting, of course, we are looking for, people who are passionate about software engineering and software development. And a few key things that we'll, of course, look at is, how well you have worked with your academic projects, whether you have worked on anything, outside of your academia, whether you have participated in programming contests, whether you have, an updated GitHub profile, right? So these are the kind of things which, of course, will get some priority over many other things. Once we have selected 30 to 40 candidates, we'll have something that we call an assessment round. The assessment round is going to be, a day-long program where we'll have a written exam. We'll ask each applicant to participate in a hand-on task, and we'll have a very short, brief interview to explain you about your hands-on work that we do. After the assessment round, we'll have a final interview round from the shortlisted candidates from the assessment round. And then finally, we intend to select about 8 to 12 candidates as our trainee engineers for this year. Okay. Okay, so I think that sort of briefly describes the trainee program. So now I will sort of hand over to my colleague, Amatur Lushan, to talk about the application process. So I think this, the shortlisting criteria that I have mentioned, I've just given it here so that, when we have shared the presentation, you have sort of a place to look at quickly. Okay, so with that, I would like to thank all of you. I'll come back to it after during the Q&A presentation, but let me now hand it over to my colleague Lushan. Lushan, over to you.
Thank you, Bhaiya.
Okay.
Hi everyone. Good evening. Here comes the most awaited part, the application process. Let me tell you it in details. So the application link is already open. You can find it in our website, which is www.niftycoders.com. I am seeing some of you have already applied. So yes, you can go there and start applying. Right after the webinar, we will also post the job from our LinkedIn and Facebook official pages. You can either apply from our website or from the job post. Please read the job description thoroughly, and if you think you are eligible for the position, you can apply or refer a friend. Now I will go through the selection process, and which is Rajan Bhai already mentioned. So let's see the program timeline. Starting from today until 16 July, you can apply for the position. And in 17 July, we will notify the shortlisted candidates. And we are planning to take the assessment on 19th July. As Rajan Bhaiya already mentioned, it's a day-long program. So I would like to request the shortlisted candidates that you take preparation accordingly. And within 22nd of July to 31st July, we will wrap up the final interview round, which will be on site, and we will give an invitation to the selected candidates to our office. And selected candidates from the final interview rounds will start the trainee program process, and we will start the orientation and this program on 15th of August. So let me discuss the benefits and perks of Nifty Coders. If I say during the training program, trainees will get a monthly compensation between 35,000 to 45,000. They will also get opportunity to work on hands-on projects guided by mentor. And upon successful completion of the training program, you will get a certificate which will describe your contributions and achievements. We will also provide subsidized daily lunch, and you will participate in our company tour. After successful completion, there might be opportunity in permanent placement as associate software engineer with a monthly salary starting from 40,000 to 60,000, which is quite an increase, you know. We also offer a lot of perks and benefits for our permanent employees. For example, we are providing 2 annual bonuses. We have paid paternity and maternity leave. Also, we have a comprehensive medical insurance for employees and dependents. We are offering fixed allowance for transport, mobile, and internet allowances. We also arrange quarterly and monthly team building events. You might have seen some of them in our socials. And we also have a structured performance review process, and we always support continuous learning and growth. So our company sponsors certification for personal development. That's not all. We are also here throughout the time to support you during this journey. And we are very excited to have you on board. So I wish you all the best, that you take your first step of your career. And I hope we will meet you soon in person, and all the best for your next journey. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Dushan. So I think that sort of concludes our webinar today. So I would again like to thank all of you for joining. So I don't know, Abir, how many participants do we have today?
It peaked around 360 plus.
360 plus. So that's something that we are very proud of. So when we published the initial post, it took about 30 hours to fill out all the registrations. And I was sort of expecting that we'll probably have about a third of the registrants joining. So I think that's something that's beyond our expectation. So yeah, I would like to thank all of you for joining and taking the time to listen to us. And I hope you will get out with some things that will be beneficial for you. So let's take some questions and answers. So shall we go with
Mr.
some of
Tamim,
the questions?
you can
Yeah,
unmute and
if you
ask your
can
question.
read out some of the questions from our from the question Q&A section. Maybe you can go from that one first. Maybe select a
Sure.
few. Then we can take a few in-person questions.
Sure. Mahmoudul asks that if there is any position for mobile application development for training.
Okay, so currently we have Flutter developer post that is ongoing, but currently we're looking for cross-platform developer.
Okay, another question was from Aman. He was asking if when the training engineers are selected, will they be trained based on the technologies they're comfortable with or with the technologies that will be assigned by the organization?
Okay, so it has to be actually, I mean, for your assessment day, right? We will give you the opportunity to use the technology or programming language of your choice. However, when you join in the training program, it's going to be set of tools and programming languages that we generally use and require.
Another interesting question there. In the Rafi asked, what key qualities or skills we are personally looking for in fresh candidates? I think we have already covered that.
Okay, so I think I always look for people who are passionate about what they're working. And what does passionate mean, right? So I think we know that in the culture that we grow up in, right? We are always trying to study subjects where there's good job opportunity, right? So I think in some cases you do the same, you study computer science and then you find your passion there. So you're very lucky. But I think for me, it's very important that, if you're, I look for passionate developers. I think when you are studying and you have opportunity to work on projects, you try to do as much as possible, right? I think if you're doing your project just to get the marks, probably you're not doing enough, right? That's your opportunity to learn something about, what's happening in real world. And that's what in the key qualities that I look for. I think one of the other things that we would look for is the sense of ownership, the sense of responsibility, right? Whenever you're working on something, you should think of it as your own. When we are assigned tasks and we look at it as an opportunity for us to learn and we take ownership, right? And that's when you excel, right? If you think about what benefit the organization is getting, then I think it slows you down. Right? Always think of what benefit you can get out of it, what you can learn. So this kind of passionate attitude is what we typically look for.
And another question from Mr. Junaidul Islam. If my fundamentals are clear, then can I work as a prompt engineer? I don't want to be tech specific because everything is the same crud, just the implementation is different. Please let me know if I have the wrong concept.
Does someone else from our team wants to answer? So I think yes, if your fundamentals are good, you can work as a prompt engineer. And I think prompt engineering is about your ability to understand certain business and then being able to sort of translate that requirement or make LLM understand that requirement, right? So I don't think you need to be very technical. In fact, in a lot of for our clients, the prompt engineers are mostly non-technical people, right? They know the business very well, and they try to articulate the problem to LLMs so that they can provide solid solutions.
Okay, Bhaiya, I'll just ask you another last question. Tosifin Parvez was asking, are there any tips for standing out in the application for ML track?
Yes, of course. If you have experience or things that you have tried out, ML applications. If you are familiar with tools, Python libraries, or then of course it's possible to stand out. Do describe your project and your understanding well in your resume, and of course we will try to see if you can fit in.
Okay, Bhaiya, I think we can leave
Okay, I
there.
think I will take
Our
one
organizer
question from. So I think Rafiul has asked, right? So I think I've mentioned this. So what are the common challenges trainee face early on, and how does the company support overcoming them? So I think trainees typically face the issue that they are overwhelmed with the new things that they encounter, right? So you would work with programming languages, but then you're bombarded with processes, you're bombarded with various tools, right? So that's, I think, is a challenging. So in case of Nifty Coders, we try to support. You have to open up. If you find it overwhelming, do share with us, and our mentors will support. Maybe they will explain it twice, thrice if you need time to understand. So I think we are open about it, and we would support anyone who is part of this. We will make sure that we don't set you up for challenges that you cannot succeed in.
there are a lot of questions asking us about our assessment, about the topics.
I think maybe for the shortlisted candidates, we will arrange a short session where we can talk about the detailed assessment process, right? But you will have some a written test where you will be given some problems, maybe asked about some practical issues that we face as developers, and then in the practical training or practical session, you will be given everyone will be given maybe 2 or 3 problems that they should try and solve within a couple of hours. So that's how it's going to be. I don't think there's going to be competitive programming problems there. We'll try to design it in a way so that it's more, you can solve the problems more logically, and we'll try to assess how you approach your problem solving capabilities. Okay. So we are run by 10 minutes. So let's take maybe 2 more questions.
Okay.
And then maybe we can ask someone to.
Okay. Mr. Kausar Habib, can unmute and ask your question. Mr. Kausar Habib.
Okay, maybe.
Okay. Mr. Mehdi Hassan, you can unmute and ask your question.
Hello, Assalamualaikum, and thank you so much for this presentation. I have actually 2 questions. Can I ask them both?
Yes, please. Yes, sure.
So as you were already experienced for many years, I haven't thought for work-life balance. So as an employee or as a person, I always want work-life balance. But I know that as a company or as an organization, it should have a goal for maximize their revenue, right? So if I also want that which company I am working right now that should maximize their profit. So how can these goals be aligned so that company maximize the revenue, also employee feel motivated and feel like the work life is balanced? How this should things aligned?
I think it's
That's
about
hard question.
setting your own priority, right? So when you're running and you will have many targets to chase, right? You have to prioritize, or you have to make an understanding, develop an understanding that which priority is important right now and which you can let go for a bit more, right? And it's up to you, right? You have to make that decision, and you have to make the right decisions, right? So people who are able to manage it, they manage it, because they could understand that at this point in time, out of all the priorities, which is, the one that I should or must prioritize, and which is the task that I can let go. And the people who make a good judgment about it, they are able to manage, a good work-life balance. So one of the things that I tell everyone, right? So in many cases, right, or even during early part of my career, right, I mean, I didn't have a work-life balance, not because my company wanted me to work for long. I didn't have work-life balance because I didn't understand when to stop. So that was my problem, right? But then I also noticed that one way of getting past it is that when you take vacation, you make a habit of disconnecting yourself from the rest of the world. When you take vacation, plan it beforehand. Let your managers know. Let everyone know that you're going to be on vacation. And when you leave for vacation, you make sure that you don't turn on your phone. You have your company email on mute, and try to disconnect yourself. I have seen one of my CTOs. He was a very important person for the organization, and without him, nothing sort of worked. Yet, he would work. I never saw him not awake in Skype, whether it's 4 o'clock in the morning, whether it's 10 o'clock at night, whether it's 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Every time I asked him a question, he would be there. But annually, he would have 5 weeks of vacation. During that time, it was impossible to find him. Right. So try to maybe make use of some of those practices. In vacation, you don't necessarily have to go somewhere, right? Just sit at your home, but disconnect yourself from your organization. Maybe that can be a good way to try and balance.
Miss
Okay.
Afifa Tasnim Juanita. Please unmute and ask questions if you have
Thank
them.
you for giving me the opportunity to ask the question. I have a question regarding the application and the selecting procedure. Like in your application, you have mentioned several domains like software engineering, DevOps, and AI ML. So when I will sit for the interview, are you guys going to ask me which domain I want to work in, or it will be a separate process for every domain in the examination or the
Oh. In the examination is going to be, primarily on a common set of skills. So, no matter where you work with, we expect that everyone will have, basic understanding of programming and programming knowledge, right? So there's going to be a common assessment for all kinds of, for all disciplines, right? It's only after you, are selected for the training program, then you will have be able to make a choice on the different disciplines. Even then, the foundation course is going to be a common set of tools that everyone will need to do, right? So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, next, the last question we will take today, Mr. Shishir Chandra Das. Please unmute and ask your question.
হ্যালো ভাইয়া, আমি এখন একটা জায়গায় জব করতেছি, বাট নট ফ্রেশার, রিসার্চ অ্যাসিস্ট্যান্ট হিসেবে আছি। কিন্তু আমি চাচ্ছি যে মানে ইন্ডাস্ট্রিয়াল জবে ঢোকার জন্য। তো আমি চিন্তা করতেছি এটা আমার জন্য সুইটেবল, কিন্তু আমি পাইথন আর মেশিন লার্নিং এ কাজ করি এআই তে। এখন এখানে কি এরকম কোনো অপরচুনিটি আছে কিনা?
I think you can apply, but as I said, আসলে আমরা তো খুঁজছি একটু যারা ফ্রেশ গ্রাজুয়েট, বিকজ যেটা হবে যে আসলে ওখানে একটা disparity তৈরি হতে পারে, right? People who already have internet, so you will find a lot of things that may be repetitive in nature for you, right? But you can apply, and then after আমাদের selection process থাকবে. So if we are able to select you, of course we'll let you know.
হ্যাঁ, থ্যাংক ইউ ভাই। মানে আমি চাচ্ছিলাম আসলে রিসার্চ থেকে মানে ইন্ডাস্ট্রি জবে আসার জন্য। তো সেক্ষেত্রে অন্য কোনো অপরচুনিটি আমি পাচ্ছি না, বিদায় মানে এই কোশ্চেনটা করলাম আর কি।
ঠিক আছে, sure. Excuse me. Okay. So yeah, let's conclude for today. Or okay. So yeah, Sabir, over to you.
I'd like to thank you everyone again for joining, and our application link is open already. You can go to our website and see the application process and apply from there. And all the very best, and hopefully we'll be seeing you soon. Some of you.
Okay, one thing, Abir, sorry to just interrupt you. So I thanked all of you for joining, but I would also like to thank our entire team, who's put in a lot of effort in making this a success. So I think a lot of you are in office. So can I ask everyone to sort of come over to this meeting room and sort of say hello to our audience? So Abir, তুমি তো থাকতে পারলো না।
জি।
Okay. So we have a lot of the people who will be mentoring you when you join. So I will just briefly mention the name. Maybe you guys can just say one sentence about yourself.
Okay. Hi, hello. I'm Tayyib Rahman Masood. So working as a senior software engineer in Nifty Coders. So I have almost 11 years of experience working with .NET technologies. Yes, that's it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mahabub. working as a tech lead in Nifty Coders, and I have over 20 years experience. So work different technologies, but basically I am passionate about .NET. Thank you.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Mahfuzul Islam as a tech lead in the Nifty Coders, and I'm almost working in this industry near about 17 years. And obviously, hope so. We'll see you soon. Best of luck, everyone.
Hello everyone, I'm Abdul Basit Shahid. I have 12 years experience, 12 plus years experience. I'm working here as a senior software engineer, and I'm working in front-end side.
Great. So thank you, everyone. So there are also, some people who, is not in the office right now, but, they have been equally very helpful. Abir is, of course, he's been conducting, but he's working from home today. So may I have a big round of applause for our team, for everyone. Thank you. Okay, so best of luck, everyone. Whoever wants to join, I hope you had a good time. So let's maybe meet during the assessment day. Happy applying. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.